so that we can, take care of your choice to be in breakout room or not. There will be one breakout room of 15 minutes or 12 minutes, depending on the time. Yeah, and I'm going to just take a few breaths. So. Welcome, welcome all. I'm Reena Ginwala, a certification candidate with the CNBC, very close to my certification, and excited to share what I truly aspire to integrate from the matrix, which has been like my tool in my back pocket, in my heart, in the last 4 years, as I, marched or walked or paused on my certification journey. So I'm very excited right now, a bit nervous, as I start the session with y'all. And I want to help us kind of make space for us to arrive. And just sharing this, the title of my session, which is inspired from the quote of Rumi, beyond right doing and wrongdoing, there's a field, and I'll see you there. And I want to live in that field beyond our conditioning and our fears and our separation, a sense of separation that we all feel every once in a while. So I'm hoping that this session helps you to, come alive to, this sense of living interdependently. And I love the definition in the Pathways Matrix, which says living from the knowledge that every individual is related to every other individual, and expanding it to systems, that every part of a system affects every other part. And I want to expand it to nature, to all that is animate, inanimate around us. So just inviting you to take a breath to read this for yourself and connect with the words and the energy of it. And as you do that, what images come up for you when you hear this definition? And I'd love for you to put in chat or put in or raise your hand, and also look at Marshall's vision when he said get very clear about the kind of world we would like and then start living that way. So any image that comes up for you, hearing living interdependently, that you wish for us in our world. Image of the tree of life, yes, Pallavi. And two individuals pointing at each other, okay. Tejal says a butterfly flaps its wings in Mexico and there's an earthquake in Bombay. Yeah, the impact. Abby, I see your hand up. Love to hear your voice.
Hi, neighbor.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah, so a web, a beautiful spider's web is an image that comes up. And I like Tejal's butterfly and Bombay earthquake one.
Yeah. I like that imagination of a web. It also, gives me that sense of interconnectedness and also some sense of safety. It's delicate, very delicate. We have lots of spiders here in Dharamsala in the Himalayas, and it's so delicate and yet so strong. It holds us. So yes, thank you for that. Yeah. Anyone else would like to share any image that comes up for you? Yeah. I have some images that also inspire me, and just for us to settle into this space, I'm sharing. Can you see the, okay, I'll share it again. Maybe there was some error. Yeah. This also is a kind of a collection of my imagination and also what I see around me. The whole idea of Ubuntu is our essential inherent interdependence from the African wisdom. And the one on top is the shepherds who are in this land traveling up to the meadows with their sheep and goats, and how they live together in that space of unknown and daily challenges. And I love the interdependence that I have recognized and experienced when I work with people in the community. From we consider that maybe there's a family here from the Indian context, and sometimes when we see them from far, we may sense that there is poverty, there is uh, infighting or something, but I see such interdependence that there is joy, there is time to laugh, to share the challenges with each other. And sometimes in big bungalows and in cities there are disconnects and people talk to technology. So that's also, I mean, there's all sorts, but I just wanted to name this. And of course the forest and the bees and the flowers. And Susan, I see your hand up. What would you like to share?
I did see the image of a universal connection, but I think what came to my mind was a poem. And that's, you reminded me when you said Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, and that's a poem of Imam Ali, where he says, your remedy is within you, but you do not sense it. And your sickness is from you, but you cannot perceive it. You presume you are a small entity, but within you is enfolded the entire universe. And that's the image that came to my mind, is that we're all part of this entire universe. We have it inside of us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Susan, for connecting us to that vast universe which is nourishing, nurturing inside of us. And I think the Pathways Matrix has been my my go-to tool for building those skills of integrating NVC consciousness, and also finding myself, when I was sensed loss or loss of direction or overwhelm, I could go to the matrix and look at the skills and say, what is my edge right now? What am I struggling with? And what resources do I have to support me right now? So it was like a map when I was lost in the world of my relationships or situations in this conditioned, almost unnatural life that we all live. And that also brings me to the purpose of this event. I was so excited. I jumped straight into the practice because I really wanted everyone to imagine what living interdependently means for you, means for us. So yes, this event is a celebration of Jim's book, The Pathways to Nonviolent Communication, and also to share immense gratitude with CNBC and Marshall. Since 35 years, they have, continued to grow NVC with 700 trainers, certified trainers, and almost 700 candidates like me who are really excited about becoming part of the larger community that brings the change that we want to see. Today is Gandhiji's birthday, and I'm so glad I'm remembering his words from the land where he lived and functioned, also besides South Africa. And I know the whole world remembers him today for, ahimsa. So yeah, thank you, Jürgen, for sharing the links. You could buy the book, and the profits from that, from our purchase, will go to support spread of NVC and making it more inclusive, more available to everyone. Nobody is turned away from any NVC learning and sharing. So purchase books, gift them, and also, if you like, make a monthly donation to CNVC. And I'd love for you to have a link to download the tool, the matrix, so that you can have it as your guide, on a daily basis, and check where you are at. And yeah, so here we are, exploring living interdependently. I'd like to share in a minute, how my experience has been with the 4 spaces that I found on the, on the matrix, how it helped me to accept myself where I am with self-compassion, and also, take responsibility, look inwards, look at what I could do, be in the here and now. So some of you have attended earlier sessions, but I'd still share that, initially we might be at an unskilled level where we have no idea of the competence. We are incompetent because we don't know. And that shows up as we hold perspectives of independence and dependence, either or domination and submission, without being aware of the alternatives. And I found myself here in the beginning of my journey as a parent. I was 24 when I had my first child, and then 2 more in the next 7 years, all 3 daughters. And with a busy life as a restaurateur, I found, myself being quite vulnerable when I was told that, oh, you have children and you go to work and you're neglecting them. So slowly, I kind of shut down to any, any kind of advice or suggestions. And either I found on days when I was exhausted, I was completely dependent and submitting from a space of anger or helplessness. And other times I was independent. I said, I don't care. I know what to do, and I'm going to do it my way. And I did kind of move from that to, awakening. There's got to be something different that I can do. What is that? So, because I have a kind of, since the beginning, quite a commitment to my own growth. And, awakening stage meant that I was aware and interested in the idea that all needs matter. And need language was quite common, but then I was holding the need tightly. I need support, and you got to understand and trust me. And so it was more like, you have to, you got to, and becoming aware of the thinking, and also becoming aware that right now I am losing it. I'm almost rebelling or submitting. So those were the days when, work increased and children were growing up, and, it was really difficult to have a balance in daily life. And though I was open, I was still justifying and, kind of sulking if somebody said I wasn't home on time, and my daughter was waiting. So yeah, it was harder, it's like ignorance is bliss when I'm unskilled. When I'm awakened, then I'm like, oh my God, it's so painful. And yes, and as the challenges increased, I knew that I've got to get, my role, my gift of being a parent, being a mother was so precious to me. And I had amazing, lovely parents who nurtured me. So uh, when I met Marshall in 2006, and I was aware of NVC, I was at the IIT, and I said, wow, I mean, this is something else. I don't know what's going on, but it's feeling different. It's in my body. I can sense some relief, and that was it. It was more like shedding, the conditioning and unlearning rather than knowing what to do next. So slowly, I started moving into the capable space of having an idea of the skill and attempting it with effort, which meant that I would generally consider the needs of others as well as my own needs. And yet, when it came to my children, it was often, their needs over mine, especially since I was a single parent. I've been a single parent since 24 years, and I met Marshall in 2006 when I was struggling as a single parent. And I was pleased to have support of NVC and all the community and mentors. And yet, I was knowingly putting my children's needs before mine, and sometimes finding space for myself. So yeah, and then of course, during the certification journey, what I do is take the most difficult assignment to work on, which is, now my children are adults. They're 36, 30, and 29 years old. And I'm still a parent, right? But they are adults, and, the relationship has changed. And I really found through all the practices in my certification journey that I could see that I'm consistently open to perspectives and needs, mine and theirs. And I do experience that level of, that we all needs matter. And when they are on the table, then I slow down, and I'm open to sharing and listening. So, like listening empathically and sharing, expressing honestly. And of course, every now and then the self-empathy process continues. So I guess in the certification process, when my children gave me feedback, there was a lot of celebration. Also, celebration of the edges that they mentioned that they would like to see me growing at, like an edge around, accepting myself when I made a mistake. So yeah, so that's been my journey, and the matrix has helped me to map myself. And today, I'm just, yeah, 5 years of holding this matrix with such, what shall I say, confidence and care. And now the book, I'm so grateful. I'd love for all of us to have our own experience, of this skill of living interdependently. And I invite you to, and if you have any reflections or anything that I saw some hearts and some thumbs up, if you would like to share anything, please do so in chat, or you can raise your hand, let me take a minute to check if whatever I said, because many of you are parents and all of us are children and adult children, right? So anything that's come up for you, let me make space for that. Maybe one or two voices. Yes, Tejal.
Reena, I'm so sorry. My question might be very dumb and elementary, but I've been, because I didn't join from the beginning today, but I keep hearing about the matrix and how it has helped people to map, when they are in different situations. But I don't know what this matrix looks like. Is there a visual representation of it or something? Do you mind, please, if it's appropriate at some point, you could share it kindly and just to see. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. No, it's not a dumb question. I'm glad you're asking, because we have put in chat a link, and we can put it again where you can download it. And what I'm sharing today is this one row of the 28 rows of skills, where we can see, okay, this is the skill. What is the definition for it? And then, we are going to go through the 4 stages where we may find ourselves in different relational spaces. So Tejal, your question will be answered soon in this presentation. Yeah, thanks. Yi from, I see your hand up.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Yeah, thank you, Reena. I'm very grateful for being invited as parent to share. I have a 10-year and a 6-year-old. So since I've started to learning and practicing MVC last year, my 10-year-old I think he has seen a lot of changes in me, and he is gradually growing interest in learning martial. And I borrowed the book from the library. He started to read first, and he almost finished the book, and he's been asking last night before going to sleep, he asked me, Mom, I was checking on the agenda, I say I'd like to do some more MVC learning. There's this coming up, going on. He says, can I join? He is interested in participating. But those are all adults. Can children allowed? I said, I don't know. I will ask. But he's just I find the interdependence is really, I'm so grateful for having the opportunity to learn, because of the love I have for my children, and like to be myself, be a better parent, to guide myself. Then I will be able to kind of give an example to children how to live our own life. And one example, the other example, I don't know, thank you for giving the time, is in the car, he was saying, Mom, I feel sad. And I said, okay, I was driving, he doesn't know. And he said, I don't know why. I said, okay. And a few minutes later, he said, because you are sad. And I just feel very powerful, like a 10-year-old, and he was able to empathize verbalize using the language. And I was driving, I immediately said, yeah, I feel sad sometimes, but that's not because of you. And I'm driving. We'll come back to talk on that later, because I had the need for concentration. I'm driving, and I just feel very powerful, like the kid just leading himself in this learning and practicing MVC with me, and I feel very supported and seen for my efforts in this journey. Thank you.
Our youth celebration, and Eve, to your question about whether children can join, I think Abby has her daughter by her side quite often in the sessions, so I'm sure both of you could connect, and children do inspire us. So it truly is an inclusive space. And I already see your son living the consciousness and guiding you and supporting you. So I'm celebrating that. And, I want to also, for us to kind of focus on our practice. And, I want to say that the COVID times have been very difficult for us as families, as parents who have children at home, who are isolated or lost, or even finding it hard to be present to our conflicts and our heavy energies sometimes. So I would love for us to, each one of us, to explore whatever it is that we want to explore from our COVID pandemic experience of the last 1.5 years. And in some places we seem to be out of it, and yet as a world we are still struggling, and we've learned a lot. We have a lot more insights now on our interdependence and also challenges of that. So let's look at the 4 steps in one by one kind of mode, and do our own exploration of, what does it mean to be in that space with the loving kindness for ourselves. So yeah, the context of being a family, being a parent or a child or an adult child, um, adult, interdependent adult in COVID times is what I'm inviting us to explore. And yeah, I'm sharing the each space. So Tejal, this is the one row of the matrix, and now we will go to the first one, which the exercise that I'm inviting us to do is based on also Marshall's vision. He says in one of the 4 couplets, and I've taken 2, that from now on, I choose to have my actions flow from connection with nature and to direct my attention where it supports this flow. From now on, I choose to believe that the failure results from insufficient dialogue and creativity rather than scarcity. So just kind of holding these 2 in, it's like setting an intention and putting some action into that, like finding those moments when you may have been in this space of, no knowledge of the skill and unconsciously incompetent, where you held perspectives or of independence, either or, domination, submission, without being aware of a choice, an alternative. It's inviting you to take a paper and pen or use your computer or your mind space, your heart. Just remember those days in the recent past or the earlier times of the pandemic when there was a shock around social, physical distancing and how challenging this pandemic disease is. And is there any memory, as an observation, when you remember something? How do you feel now in your body? Is there a sensation, a tightness? And shaking your body a little bit, to kind of get a deeper sense of how it lives, our experiences in it, within it. And even when we were in this space of unskilled, unconscious incompetence, we were meeting some needs, remembering that all action is in service of needs. The difference is that it could be that we hold our needs as important and, more relevant and or may not be aware of other people's needs. So it becomes a life alienating choice. And to also hold that with a sense of witnessing, you know. If you like, it helps me to put my hands on my chest and just feel my heartbeat. And with a moment of 2-3 breaths, I'd like us to support us to flow into the second space. And yeah, over time, remembering if there were moments or relationships, situations within which you became aware of the skill that, okay, we are interdependent. You know, sometimes this reminds me of that cartoon, which is about soldiers carrying one soldier. Soldiers are walking. There are mines, landmines in the fields, and one of them is picking up a donkey on their back. And, you know, the explanation is that I better pick up the donkey on my back, because if the donkey steps on a landmine, then we are all gone. So it still is more from that, you know, that understanding that I have to, I should. I don't know whether it's so much the love for the donkey. So there is some awareness and interest in the idea that all needs matter, but the focus is still on my survival. And I'm at the center of my universe, as if I'm even separate and more important from the other than the others. So do you remember during the pandemic times when you were in this space? And if there are any judgments, to kind of notice them, hold them, and you know, sometimes we judge our judgments. So inviting you to hold them lightly and explore one or two observations. It could be something that you did as a team in your office or in your housing society or with your family members, extended family, you know. So I remember as an example, when somebody had the infection, then how we distanced ourselves, while earlier we would reach out and support each other. Here the fear was so real that we kind of ignored or avoided each other, and then went into a pool of shame, guilt, or blame even. You know? So it's still that space of knowing that I need to take care, but I can't help it. You know, again, how do you feel about this? And how does this space show up in your body? And if you remember doing what you did, what needs were you meeting then? Was it safety or protection? And in the interest of time, I'm inviting us to move to explore this space of when we are able to use the skill with effort. We thought the pandemic would end in one cycle, 6 months, but there was another wave and another wave. So now it seems that, sometimes that we believe that it's here to stay. So how can we isolate ourselves, for so long? So we might as well pick up skills, and find ways to bring back normalcy and a new normalcy, if we may, which would be, especially in our world of NVC community, we know now that our intention is to connect and meet our needs for contribution and in life-serving ways. So when we look at conscious competence, we generally consider the needs of others as well as our own needs. So again, finding some examples from your own life, and we are going to go into a breakout room soon, so you can share that with 2 other people. So I invite you to make note of it. It's more like to celebrate, to harvest our journey through the pandemic and how we have changed, how we have grown in our skills and our consciousness. This tool is especially helpful for that. And then to really aspire with humility, sometimes, like I tell myself that, who do I think I am, that I can be this integrated person, this wholesome person. Then I breathe. I say, I am, inherently I am. I am this person who naturally uses the skill with ease and flow in a deeper way. And there may be some blocks where through practice I can dissolve them so that I can become unconsciously competent and live a life where all needs matter, and the flow of giving and receiving is life-serving and constant. So consistently open to perspectives and needs of others, experiences others' needs as integrally connected to one's own needs. So there's more in our conversation also. We hear ourselves, using earlier where we used I and you, now we may use we and us, which also to me is a sign of being in this space. So I invite you to look at some new possibilities, some requests that you may already be making, or you might want to reiterate. And what would you do to live and function from this space? So I'm inviting us to go into a breakout room to practice, and share whatever clarity you may have of in this moment, where do you find yourself? Jürgen will put some text in chat for you to map, and focusing on for 12 minutes, 3 people, focusing on what steps can you take to live interdependently in the here and now and onwards. So I'd love for us to harvest any requests, any ideas, any concrete steps that emerge from this exploration to live in the here and now with that sense of, Ubuntu. Any questions before we go into the breakout room? Jürgen, I see it's already 5:13, so could we make it 10 minutes? And I invite us to, share maybe one or two, one concrete step that you would take. Then we'll multiply all our action in the world. So we can open the breakout rooms for 10 minutes. Thank you.
Reena, we just stay here if we are not joining a breakout room. Is that okay?
You might be sent to a room where there will be others who will also be silent.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Or however, Jürgen, is everyone who's not in a breakout room staying in the main room? I think so.
Most of them I see, yes. Yeah.
Okay, great.
But there are
So,
several
yeah.
who haven't joined their breakout rooms.
Okay.
And there now I have
Right.
some people alone in breakout rooms. So I'm
Okay.
I think I missed the
Yeah.
button for the breakout room because I don't see it.
this is Katie.
Yeah, I'm Katie.
Katie.
Katie. Let me try to find you.
I could also send
Yeah.
some people.
I don't
Would
see
have-
Katie.
Oh, I joined late. I just woke up. I'm in Canada.
Okay. So Katie, then I'll join you. I'll let you go into room number 7.
Thank you.
And Jürgen, I just also.
Carl, you unmuted yourself. Carl Theater. Okay, Carl. Okay, I'll send you to room number 6.
And
Me
myself.
too as well. Sorry.
Late.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Anna.
Yeah.
Susan.
I'd be
and
happy to
Annie.
stay here. Hi, Reena. Sorry, I'm late, but I'd be happy to go to a room and I'm okay to stay here.
Okay,
that
Annie, I find a room for you, yeah?
Thank you.
And for Susan.
Now Carl is a room alone, so I sent you to Carl.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And I'm also waiting to be sent to a breakout room. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
What else do we have here? Yeah, and number 9, there can be someone.
And can I be sent to a room as well, Jürgen?
That's Susan.
Yes, thank you.
Susan, you are in yeah, I see you in number 9. Could
Oh,
you
am I?
go? Yeah, could you go to your bottom menu where the breakout room, join breakout room may
Oh,
pop
yes,
up?
it does say room number 9, join breakout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Susan.
And I guess you were alone in the room, and yeah. Would you like to share here, Ahmad? Because
No,
the recording is over.
I received a sign of the technology that the technology likes me to stay independent.
In this. Do you have any concrete that came up for you? What would you do to live from that integrated space? I'd love to hear if you want to share.
I'm accepting I'm accepting what's happening, either to be with some others or to be alone, or to be in the main room or to be with only one person.
I have another room where only one person is in, if you want me to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that
Is it room 11?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Is there an
Room
invitation
11.
for you to join the other room? Oh, he left already.
Yeah. Yeah, well done.
Thank you. I
11.
see, Reena. I have similar feelings like Anish before. So it's need to breathe.
Yeah. I'll send a message that people have 5 more minutes.
Is Jesse already here?
Who? Jesse Wines Chu.
I don't
See
see
him.
him.
Yeah.
Oh, here he comes. He or she?
E. Hello, Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you as well, Reena. Hi, Jürgen.
Jesse, hi. I just made you co-host.
Thank you so much.
The people have, the participants have gone into the breakout room to share. My session was in living interdependently. So looking at how the lessons that we've learned, the insights that we have, the challenges that we are facing or have overcome have helped us to, take action, to do some integrated steps around living interdependently. So that's what is going on in the breakout rooms. I'm very excited.
Beautiful.
Imagine.
Will there be time for you to hear from any of the participants after the breakout rooms, or is that the last thing?
That's the last thing, because according to my time, that I have only 8 minutes, and they will be back in 2 minutes, 20 seconds. So I would like to hear some voices, and yeah.
Excellent.
And hopefully hand over to you in time, or maybe a minute over, if that's okay.
Sure. No problem.
Jesse, question, as I'm the tech host for you as well.
Okay.
Do you have anything yet, like breakout rooms you want to have arranged?
In this moment, I'm not thinking about breakout rooms, but if I think of it, I'll mention it. I'll try to give you some heads up, but in this moment, it doesn't come to mind.
Okay, thank you. Just give me some time for it, because it seems to be like people are putting X's and switching around. It's a bit stressful.
Yeah.
And is there, you are aware of these texts and links we put in the beginning and the end?
Yes, I was actually just looking at that just before I joined.
I'm happy for you to put them in. If you just, time for breakout rooms over. Oh, Reena, you did. That you just tell me when, yeah? Give me a small hint.
Okay. If I follow the script in general, is that gonna make it easy
fine.
for you? Okay.
So people coming back?
Yeah. Welcome back. I see, yeah, all of you are back, and I'm very curious if some of you would like to share, raise your hand or unmute yourself and share any one step that you have intended to take to live that from that integrated space. And I'd love also if you share in chat so that each idea can be multiplied, you know. Yes, Jan.
I really like the last thing that you said, Reena, before we went into the breakout. And I committed to using we and us language as opposed to you and I language. And I think even just taking this first small step will bring this awareness and just expand this little me bubble in my life to include a few more people. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Jan. It was lovely to see your daughters by your side today, and I've been celebrating and this insight as well.
Yes, they're all part of the we, you know, I just have to make the circle a bit bigger now.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. It's a celebration. Yay. Okay, any more hands to share your steps so we can all copy you? Yes, Abby.
I was exploring my needs, like flavors of ice cream in an ice cream parlor. That's the imagery I had. And it's not about wanting it all, it's realizing how valuable all these needs are, and then not being able to sort of taste them all. So yeah, I think when I feel like there are these needs and then these needs and then there are the needs of other people in my life, then I go back to self-compassion. I do a self-compassion process which helps. Sometimes even that is a need to make the space for the self-compassion process. Yeah, so that's what I was exploring.
Thank you so much, Abby. That image of you know, flavors of ice cream is really like invitation to explore all the needs as important and to hold them lightly. I mean, no, needs we hold tightly, but the strategies to meet those needs we hold lightly. And I'm saying this, and I'm thinking Jesse is going to take us to the next, explore the next skill of needs consciousness. So there is a cue, you know, for you, Jesse. And yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, I wish I had a little more time to listen to all your voices, but I see on your faces some energy, some tenderness as I kind of sense it of different possibilities and exploring living interdependence, because as I say namaste to you in India, from India, to me it is, and the Sanskrit meaning is that I bow down to that energy in you, which is so much the energy in me. We are all one. And there's another kind of a phrase that we use called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means this whole world is a family. We are all, the human collective belongs in that realm of, being interdependent, and what happens in one space affects the other. So I hope our family, especially our NVC family and community, grows. And through that, the lives that we touch will also be impacted, isn't it? So with that inspiration and satisfaction of contribution, I would like to end the session. And Jürgen, I invite you to put in chat the feedback form, and also the link where I would love to connect with you, my email and website, and definitely the links again to support the book by Jim, Pathways to Nonviolent Communication, and through that also CNVC and our shared purpose of making the world more peaceful and alive. Thank you for being here, for supporting me by your presence and exploration. And thank you, Jesse. I'm very happy to hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Reena. And sitting here with a deep mixture of curiosity and appreciation for what Reena was sharing. I only got to catch the last few minutes, but from what it sounds like, those of you who've been on this for the last hour have been really immersing. Some background sound. Been really immersing in this connection to the interdependence of interdependence. Is what does it mean? How does it live in this nonviolent communication practice? Before we get started into what I wanted to share, I just want to offer some things that tie this session to the theme of this gathering. So for those of you who don't know, this program is all to support the launch of Jim Mansky's book, Pathways to Nonviolent Communication. And the book is about all the different skills that nonviolent communication encompasses. And it's a tool that was developed by Jim Jory, Jake Gottwells, Jack Lehman, and it's to help people self-assess their practice, their skills and consciousness. And the reason I actually felt moved to participate in this is that this book is also a way to support the Center for Nonviolent Communication at this time, because all the proceeds go to support the center. And it's a really important time for there to be some kind of support for the center, because it used to be that the Center for Nonviolent Communication was supported by international intensive trainings in person. And since the pandemic, that's shifted. And so I was moved to, lend my, to lead something here to support the center. And so I encourage you, if you also feel moved to support the center, to purchase the book. Jürgen has posted the link. There's also the possibility of becoming a monthly donor to the Center for Nonviolent Communication, and Jürgen has posted that link as well. And you know, it's an interesting thing for those of you who may not have had a direct connection to the Center for Nonviolent Communication to wonder, well, why would we support it, or what, you know, what's the connection there? And, you know, for me, it actually ties back to the gift that I received and many of us received from Marshall Rosenberg and continue to receive through this work of nonviolent communication. And so I feel moved to continue to support that work. And I know it's happening in the world through many other avenues besides the Center for Nonviolent Communication. But in some ways, supporting the center is a little bit of my way to honor that gift because he founded the center. So in a way, it kind of takes me to the topic of this session. You know, in terms of Jim's book, The Pathways to Nonviolent Communication, the aspect I'm working with today is the one on needs consciousness. And I titled this session Being Needs. And the reason I titled it Being Needs is because